On this election fraud edition of the Infowars News Blitz, we'll be taking a look at the election fraud and the plan to steal the presidency from Donald Trump and give it to Hillary Clinton. So all you mobile suit people better suit up and head out. We're going in, people. For the week of August the 8th, 2016, this is the first article day here, or just said first video day here, and it's a video made by Alex Jones. The title is called Emergency Message to Donald Trump. Alex Jones reaches out to the president of the Republican nominee Donald Trump to tell him about what's going to happen in the election if Hillary tries to steal this election. And I know Donald Trump also knows about this as well. Roger Stone has come on and talked about it. So here is the clip here. I'm going to sign off and let it play.
Nomination of Bernie Sanders. Mr. Trump, I'm not going to lay things out here that you don't already know. But I am going to ask you to seriously think about making the issue of Hillary's election fraud in the primaries one of the central issues to defeating her in November. I have interviewed all the top election fraud experts, whether it's from low-level retail voter fraud or election fraud with the black box voting machines. And the evidence is clear. Only landslides can defeat major election fraud. And as your polls go up and up and up, 7-10 points against Hillary, as people learn how corrupt she is and how corrupt she has been, your numbers are only going to go up. They know you are the real leader. They know you should be the next president of the United States. And they're going to try to block you. When the mainstream media ridiculed Donald Trump and said he was a sore loser, that he shouldn't talk about Ted Cruz canceling elections and having voterless victories in the primaries, yes, it was sensational when he came out and said, I'm winning these states, but they're giving the delegates to Ted Cruz. In some cases, they would just cancel elections in many states and just give him all the delegates.
So we have a rigged system. So in Colorado, they were going to vote. And you saw what's happened in Colorado. It's one of the big things. It's a fix. Because we thought we were having an election, and a number of months ago, they decided to do it by, you know what, right? Right? They said, we'll do it by delegate. They said they're going to do it by delegate. Oh, isn't that nice? And the delegates were all there, all waiting. And the head guy, in fact, one of them tweeted out today or said today by mistake, and then they withdrew it, something to the effect, see, never Trump. Look what we did, never Trump. Because if I go to the voters of Colorado...
All right, that's enough, but you get the idea, folks. They're going to steal this from Trump, and this will actually go into more detail with the next article I will be reading very shortly, folks. Okay, so here we are, folks. This is the second article today, and it's an article written by Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones himself. The title is called Trump is Right. Hillary stole the nomination and she will try to steal the election. Echoing the previous video I have just commented for you people. Establishment media tries to criticize Trump, claiming that the system is rigged as a conspiracy theory. Yeah, right, thief. We know you're a bipolar person, Clinton. The anti-Trump establishment media is trying to spin Trump's legitimacy concern that Hillary will try to rig the election as insane, baseless conspiracy theory. Both in the Washington Post and Gricker published a piece hours after Trump said in a speech, and again later during an appearance on the Sean Hannity's show, that Hillary will try to steal the election just as she stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders. Yeah, we know that. Clinton's press secretary, Brian Fallon, also sent out a tweet declaring that Trump's comments were pathetic and that they were reflective conspiracy theorists. Yeah, right, buddy. As the New York Daily News reported, the Democratic Party nominee is largely controlled by the desire of the party bosses who didn't have to take into account expressive desires of the Democratic voters. In other words, the votes of Bernie Sanders supporters counted for virtually nothing from the very beginning. No, oh really? No shit. Sorry, folks. As the Observer Michael Salento writes, instead of treating Sanders as a valuable candidate for the Democratic ticket, the DNC worked against him and his campaign, ensuring that Clinton received the nomination. The elite endorsed Hillary Clinton before any other primary votes came in and vowed to select her regardless of the result. The article goes on to say that Trump is warning that Hillary will pull out all the stops to do the same in the general election. It is not a conspiracy, but it is a point-out assessment of the most likely scenario. And I agree with him here. If Trump gets it, they may actually blow his head off. As Alex Jones said, it's in the cards. And as Alex Jones said in the previous video, as you just heard, basically, landslides will only defeat this, and I think he's right on this issue. And I also think that is the only way to save us from God's wrath of judgment on this country, if you know what I mean, folks. But enough about that. This is the last article they heard, and it's an article written by Mikhail Thielen. This was also covered by David Knight in the 4th hour. The title is called Hacking Conference Holds Clinton Fundraiser. Underneath it says, cybersecurity experts to raise cash discuss policies facing the next administration. Yeah, sure. A fundraiser for Democratic President nominee Hillary Clinton is set to be held this week at the Presidency Hacking Conference in Las Vegas. According to cybersecurity journalist Stephen Reagan, the fundraiser will be Wednesday during the event hours of the Black Hat Las Vegas. The event will feature Black Hat founder Jeff Moss, founder of the DHS White House, former DHS White House liaison Jake Vernon, and Michael Solomir, who is the Clinton's campaign cybersecurity working group coordinator. Reagan writes. A Black Hat spokesman speaking to Reagan stated that the fundraiser was vendored or politically natural and is running completely independent of the conference. Yeah, but there won't be none for Donald Trump, as you're about to hear in the clip I'm about to send to you all. But, you know, that is regarding the fundraiser's announcements. But you won't know that by reading the fundraiser's announcements, Reagan noted. While Black Hat calls the event unofficial and Clinton herself is going to be there, the idea of a presidential fundraiser at a hacker conference of any type just feels strange. The article goes on to say that Reagan adds that no fundraisers, official or otherwise, are scheduled for Republican nominee Donald Trump during Black Hat, because they don't want that. Because you want to know why, folks? It's gonna be a hacker's paradise. I don't know if I can sing the Coolio version of it, but I'm not gonna try. So here's a clip about that from David Knight.
There's going to be a Clinton fundraiser set for the Black Hat Conference coming up in Las Vegas. How about that? I guess they want to raise money for Hillary Clinton. How's that for irony or hypocrisy? You take your pick either way. I guess the way these Black Hat hackers look at this is that a Clinton presidency would be a hacker's paradise. It would literally be. So it would really raise their stock, because everybody would be saying, how do we stop all these leaks? Information is coming out of everywhere. We don't know how to stop this. Well, you know, you can stop it, first of all, by not putting all your classified emails on a private unsecured server. There's some very easy things that you can do to keep from having your information compromised. But of course, the people that I talked to at the DNC just really didn't care about that. They were far more interested in putting out conspiracy theories about Putin and Trump. But let's take a look at this article from Mikhail Thalen. They say, according to cybersecurity journalist Steve Reagan, the fundraiser will begin this on Wednesday during the evening hours of Black Hat Conference in Vegas. They described this as focusing on policy issues that will be facing the next administration. You can bet that hacking is going to be a policy issue that is going to face the Clinton administration throughout its reign here. They say a Black Hat spokesman said that the fundraiser was vendor and politically neutral. Yeah, right. And it's being run completely independent of the conference. And they say, but you wouldn't know that from reading the fundraiser's announcement, said Reagan. He said, while Black Hat called the event unofficial and Clinton herself is not going to be there, the idea of a presidential fundraiser at a hacker conference of any type just feels strange. Unless you're talking about Hillary Clinton. He goes on to add that there are no fundraisers being done at the hacking conference for Donald Trump. Okay. Now, who is behind this? That's been the big conspiracy theory, because they don't want to talk about what's really happening here. They don't want to talk about the information that's been revealed. They want to do a very clever pivot. They're much more clever the way that they handle bad news than Donald Trump has been.
Okay, thank you. You see, it's gonna be a hacker's paradise, folks, and they all know it. Leak after leak, they won't be able to stop the leaks, and they know it. I mean, maybe someone should come up with a song excuse me, something like, well, like, I don't know, Hacker's Paradise sung by Coolio or something. I don't know, folks. It's just me talking. Well, that's this one. Well, this just ends this session here, and you must be wondering why I started out with the whole, election fraud and stealing from Trump thing. Well, basically what happened was that I only read about like 3 articles, right? You may also notice that there was actually a 4th article I was supposed to be reading, if you care to mind reading that one. So, if you decide to read it, please do so. It's almost saying the same thing, and it's also made by Paul George Watson and Alex Jones, so it should be interesting to read. Well, that's all the articles I have for you today. If you, like being wrote by the articles, please go to the list below, go to Infowars.com or PresidentChat.com. There you can find hundreds of articles, and that's what I read for you today. This is the Infowars News Space. I'm InfoGo, live from Freedom Region number 3. Please like, subscribe, and donate. Bye-bye.